So I started going through Alex Hormozi's stuff again, the $100 Million Offers book, and I was reminded of this great lesson that I use all the time. But, one of the reasons that we invest in training and education is not necessarily because we don't know or don't even use lessons that are in that training or in that education. One of the reasons that we do that is just to continuously remind ourselves of the important things and to bring those things to top of mind again and again and again, because today, in today's context, my application of the lesson might be different than it was the last time that I went through. And also my interpretation, my perspectives, my dimensional understanding of that lesson can be, it can add so much richness, so much value to the lesson the next time through and the next time through and the next time through based on additional experiences that I've had or additional lessons that I've picked up along the way. And so this is definitely inspired by Alex Hormozi, but it's not limited to what you'll find in $100 Million offers. It's my own insights and perspectives on this very common lesson, especially tied to so many other lessons that we go through with Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. It's about making your offer irresistible by helping your prospects have less of one thing, and we'll talk about that, and more of another thing. Less of one thing, more of another thing. Now, as I was putting together the notes for this episode, I was reminded of this quote, and I love this quote. A great offer is like an electric unicycle. A great offer is like an electric unicycle. And that actually came in an interview that I did with Jeremy Pope, who talked about high ticket selling, high ticket sales. I'll make sure I include a link to that video on YouTube. What he was talking about was, well, it was his own personal experience that he bought an electric unicycle. And as soon as he had this electric unicycle, there were people, like just random strangers, stopping him in the street. They wanted to talk to him. They were interested. It attracted so much attention, right? And sometimes we struggle. We get frustrated trying to push an offer that is just not something that people are interested in. Push and push and push and push. And people are just not interested. But if we have the right offer, it becomes super easy to sell, to attract attention, to get all of that interest of our target audience. With the right offer, it's like an electric unicycle, right? It pulls people to us, right? And so this is about making an offer irresistible, making it something that people are naturally attracted to, right? Here's the thing. Here's the basic principle behind all of this. And if you're a long-time Breakthrough Marketing Secrets or even a short-time Breakthrough Marketing Secrets person, I often teach from principles and strategy first, because if you get the underlying principles and strategy right, then the technical implementation, the techniques and tactics that you use, like that stuff it happens automatically with the right principles and strategy. But if you're just learning tactics, it's just not going to be influential in terms of getting the results that you want, because tactics without principles and strategy are empty and meaningless and not useful. So the core principle here that we want to remember is that our prospects, your prospects, want movement. They want movement. Your offer has to provide them movement towards what they do want and away from what they don't want. Away from what they don't want and towards what they do want. And of these two, away is more powerful. Your prospects want to move away from the negatives more than they want to move towards the positives. There was some research that was done that people had to have the possibility of winning $2 to have the same level of participation as it took to get them to participate in not losing $1. Basically, what they found was that positive motivation had to be twice as strong to offset the negative motivation. And this is really a fascinating thing. What that means is that the negative motivator inherently is twice as strong. We want to move away from certain things and towards other things. That's the movement that we want that leads us to make a buying decision, right? And it's worth remembering that there is there are all types of away from, right? There are all types of away from that people don't want. And it doesn't just have to be some like negative, like doomer offer, right? It doesn't have to be some like negative doomer, like I'm going to scare the crap out of you to make you buy my stuff. There are lots of things that people want to move away from that if you build that into your offer, tied to what they also want to move towards, because those should be inextricably linked in your offer. What you're offering to move them towards is tied to what you're offering to move them away from. When those two are tied together well, giving them the motivation to move away from some negative and towards some positive, well, that's great. That's going to be what gets them to take action. So great offers, getting more specific here, great offers give your prospect less of problems and agitation. I talk about this all the time, like with my PISA formula: problem, agitate, invalidate, solution, and action, right? So they have a problem, we agitate the emotional experience around that, we disqualify other invalid solutions, invalidation of other solutions, we provide our ideal solution, and we ask them to take action, right? Well, people move away from problems and agitation, right? And so if they are, if they're experiencing a problem, if they're experiencing agitation, they want less of that, right? And that's kind of built into the core promise of your offer, right? But there's a lot of things that are maybe not the core promise of the offer, but are huge multipliers in the context of your offer. So in the context of trying to solve their problem, trying to rid themselves of agitation, they could spend a ton of time doing it on their own. They could have to wait a long time to get results. There could be a delay for results. And all of those things are extremely frustrating. And many people are willing to pay a lot more for less wasted time, less waiting, less delay of results. So if you can get me the results faster, if you can get me the results without waiting, I will pay you a lot more for that privilege, right? Also, effort, hard work, sacrifice, difficulty. If your offer reduces the effort, reduces the hard work, reduces I'll add complexity in here, reduces the sacrifice that's required of them, reduces the difficulty. If your offer makes things easy for them as opposed to difficult, if they can have less difficulty, if they can move away from difficulty, then they are going to be compelled towards your offer, right? And here's a big one for services. And often, like, I will often say that clients will happily pay one top copywriter a $20,000 fee versus 10 entry-level copywriters a $2,000 fee for the same type of work, even though they're getting 1/10 of the work, because the risk of failure of the entry-level copywriters is so much higher. Also, the effort of working with them, the wasted time, the waiting, all of that, those tend to be much higher for someone who's an entry level of that particular skill. And that's why people pay skilled service providers and practitioners in so many different fields, because the risk of failure is much lower with someone with a lot of experience, especially relevant experience, right? And so if your offer helps your prospects have less problems, less agitation, less wasted time, waiting, delay for results, less effort, hard work, sacrifice, difficulty, less risk of failing, that is the most powerful part of your offer. Now you might think, oh, but my prospects want results. And I often say that your prospects do want results. And they do, indeed. It's a core, like, the movement is away from something and towards something, right? But if you only emphasize the results and you kind of hide the fact that the results are going to come after a ton of wasted time, waiting, delay for results, effort, hard work, sacrifice, difficulty, risk of failure, prospects are not going to readily jump all over that, versus making it easy, making it fast, and reducing the risk, right? And great offers also give your prospect more of, well, the solution that they want, right? The desired result, the dream outcome, the confidence in the achievement of the result. So they need to have a perceived level of certainty that they are going to get that result, right? They need to be confident that if they go with you, they can get the result. And yeah, these things are important. These things are very important. These things are helpful, right? But oftentimes it's not just this movement towards the positive that is going to motivate people. For the most part, people only get motivated when there is movement away from the negative. Oh man, it's taking too long to get this result. Okay, I'm going to pay someone to help me. Oh man, it's too hard for me to figure out how to do this. Okay, I'm going to pay someone to help me, right? Okay, it's great that I can be confident that they're going to help me get the result, right? That they're going to get me that outcome that I want. But I'm ultimately making the decision to hire them because I want to move away from the risk that if I do it myself, I'm going to fail. The fact that it's way harder than I thought. The reality that it's taking way longer than I wanted it to take, right? Those are the things that are going to motivate me to take action towards paying someone a lot of money, oftentimes, for the outcome, right? So the most successful offers do this. They take away the negatives, they de-risk the transaction, and they ruthlessly cut down the risk of failure. So you can take an offer that promises a result, right? And that's great. Or you can put another offer next to it that promises the result, that makes it faster and easier to get the result, that reduces the risk of failure, right? And that reduces the risk of the transaction itself, right? And you have this offer that makes it faster and easier with minimized risk versus something that just says, I will get you the result. And the one that is faster and easier with minimized risk is going to justify a higher price. It's going to earn more. It's going to convert higher. It's going to attract clients who just really want you to be the expert that you are, right? There's so many benefits to doing all of this negative, all of this related to the negative, right? Offering your prospects, your clients, your customers less of what they don't want on top of more of what they do want. And that will make your offer more irresistible. Now, my call to action for you at the end of this episode, ask yourself how you can use this lesson. Are you going to apply this in your copy? Are you going to apply this in your offer development? Just ask yourself how you can do it. You can leave a comment with this episode if you'd like to share. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get more content like this delivered to you. I'm including links in the description. I have a whole Irresistible Offers training on designing offers for maximum sales and profits. That course link is in the description. It's part of the BTMSinsiders training library where you pay one low fee, you get instant streaming access to my entire catalog of copywriting and marketing courses, including that Irresistible Offers training. And I'll also include a link with this episode to the Jeremy Pope interview where we talked about the electric Unicycle offers. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. And hey, I do this every day, so I'll see you again in the next episode. See you soon. Bye. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.